Once again, it's the 0 to 100 podcast. Back joined by my friends from the Cowboys crew. I got JR on. What's up, JR?
What up? What up? What up? Let's make this happen.
I see you in incognito mode today. And I got Teddy. What's up,
Because they're
Teddy?
out to get me.
Bring on the draft, man. I'm tired.
All right, so JR had a. I'll give JR credit because he had a really good idea in the Cowboys text chain, and he was saying like, let's listen to some content creators from these other teams. Let's listen to the beat writers and see if we can figure out what teams are going to do within the first 11 picks before the Cowboys. So I took 1 through 4. Teddy, I believe I gave you 5 through 8, and JR, you rounded it out with 9 through 11. So
That is correct.
so let's just have a little discussion here about what we think the Cowboys are going to do within these first 11 picks. And I didn't mean to do that because I didn't want to just cut you guys out. So it's obvious with the Raiders, they're definitely going to go Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana. That is the only guaranteed locked in pick that I am aware of. You guys think that's accurate? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I mean that's where they're gonna go. It's weird because there's not like options really at quarterback this year, but that's been locked up. Even Kirk Cousins messed up and said what they gonna do again. He said, when Fernando gets here, I was like, come on, man. Everybody knows what they're gonna do.
Yeah, it's also weird because I feel like Mendoza wouldn't be like the number one pick in a lot of other drafts, quarterback or not. He would have been the number one pick over Drake May or Caleb Williams or whoever going the past couple years.
That's the weird thing to me that is from this draft class altogether. Like everybody, like there was somebody, I can't remember who posted. I don't know if it was
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was it wasn't
Owens.
Say that again, Teddy.
Was it Matt Owens? I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it was. I think it was Matt Owens.
It was him.
Yeah. I think it was Matt Owens. He compared like this year's class versus last year's class, and versus like quarterback versus quarterback.
Just
like
found it.
Ashton Jenney versus Jeremiah Love, Will Campbell versus Mao Noah.
I got
to me. Yeah,
Cam Ward versus Fernando Mendoza, Ashton Jenney versus Jeremiah Love, Travis Hunter versus Mansour Delane.
Oh, really?
Versus Francis Mauanoa, Colston Loveland versus Kenyon Sadiq, Abdul Carter versus David Bailey, Tyler Booker versus Vega Ione, Jalen Walker versus Arvil Reese, Tedero McMillan versus Carnell Tate. So like a lot of those last year's picks are you're leaning. I mean, Mauanoa maybe over Will Campbell. Jeremiah Love, Ashton Jenney. Those are like the two that jump out at me.
Yeah, like the only ones that I did, or only ones I felt was Love over Jenney, Mauanoa over Campbell, and I think it was
Arvil Reese over Jalen Walker. That's the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was 3. It was only 3 that I could sit there and say, because outside of that, I felt like last year's class was way better. Abdul Carter, I got over David Bailey, and actually over Bailey and Reese, if I'm being real about it. And I just it wasn't like McMillan. I got over all the wide receivers. It's just it's not even. It wasn't even close, but that's what makes it tricky. But so looking back at it, I got Raiders taking Mendoza at 2. I know they're taking a pass rusher, and so it kept going. I kept going back and forth between David Bailey and Arvil Reese. A lot
Sounds
of
like they are
it
too.
wasn't until recently more people kept coming out. Yeah, it's like it was more so recently. People kept coming out saying that it looked like the pick was going to be Bailey. Like, oh, the Jets are going Bailey. The Jets are going Bailey. And then next thing I know, Bailey was taken off of the 30-day visit for the Jets. And what I was looking into that was that's actually doesn't really mean anything. Is because they've been talking to Bailey. They already had like extensive meetings with him before. I think the Bailey stuff though is a bit of a smokescreen overall. I think that they are going with Arvell Reese, especially because of the potential and the upside that they have for him. So yeah, I'm sticking with Arvell Reese as the pass rusher that they're going to take from the Jets. At 3, it's been very clear from the beat writers that the Cardinals are actively trying to trade down. That's why Dallas keeps getting linked to them to try to move up to 3. I don't think Dallas is trying to go up that high because I don't think they want to give up 12 and 20. The thing about Dallas moving up that high doesn't make any sense to me is we talked about it is the Max Crosby thing. Like they didn't want to give up 12 and 20 for Max Crosby, who's an established dog at edge. So why would you do that for speculation? Like it's not proven what David Bailey's going to be. It's not proven what Arvell Reese is going to be. So I don't think that they're going to do that. And if the Cardinals can't move back, I feel like they'll just take whichever pass rusher that the Jets don't take, even though a lot of people have been giving them Francis Mauigoa. I think they want to take Francis Mauigoa, but they don't want to take Francis Mauigoa at 3. And so I think they'll take David Bailey since I gave the Jets Arvell Reese. And then that brings me to the 4th pick, which was the Titans. I think if the Cardinals didn't take, or at least from the beat reporters, for the beat reporters from the Titans that I was reading, one of the guys, Easton Freeze is his name, and he was saying that if it was Bailey or Reese that were there, or possibly Sonny Styles, because they to fit what Robert Saleh want to do on defense, they could possibly go Sonny Styles, but if it's really Reese or Bailey that they want the most. And if those two guys are going, then they're probably going to go Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, which if Love gets past the Titans, then it is like you could have that scenario, JR, where we're like, is the Cowboys going to go for Love if they get wiped out? But no, I think they're going to go I think they're going to go Love because I think the 2 pass rushers are going to be going. So I have it going Mendoza, Reese, Bailey, and Jeremiah Love. What do you guys think?
It's interesting. Yeah, that kind of flows right into mine. I mean, I think everything kind of starts there with the Cardinals and how that plays out. Do they take O-line? Let's see that combination of taking O-lineman there at 3, or if they can trade back a little bit, take an O-line, then maybe take Ty Simpson late in the 1st, because you saw some of the news that they got going on with Jacoby Brissett, who his only win last year was against who?
Wow. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
He's holding them up for some money, some guaranteed money, which I get. They don't have another option right now. He's like, the draft is in a couple days, 6 days from he was yesterday. He came out with that saying he has like 1.9 million guaranteed. And so he probably wants some security because who else y'all got? Which is real. So trying to find something for him to get some money.
Kobe's trying to get in where he fit in.
Brissett said, hey man,
that's hilarious.
Me. Y'all draft a rookie.
That's
cool.
the sad part too. That is the sad part. Like he went 1-11 last year, and the only team they beat was Dallas. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Does that change how the draft order? I mean, obviously that would hurt us if we had won that game, hurt the Cowboys. But would they have been at 2 if they lost that game? Like, I wonder how much that affects it, because they still have their pick of if they want to take, Reese or Bailey, whoever's left. Because it seems like the Jets are taking one of those guys. I think it's going to be Reese still. Because some of the close Jets sports writers have still leaned that way. But it's interesting to see how it'll play out, because the Cardinals desperately they're going to be a little bit more years in a rebuild. The Jets, I mean, ultimately these teams are trying to, if they can, everyone's trying to get next year's picks. I think that's where those two are looking at. The Titans are different because they're going to get their quarterback. They have their quarterback. And, you know, they let one of those guys fall. It could, in another route, it could go Jets pass rusher, Cardinals pass rusher, Titans pass rusher. They take Bane. Then that's where I think it goes, uh-oh, if you're Dallas, because that's three of the guys we've talked about as that group of six. And you're looking there like, all right, maybe we need to trade up.
If it were to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, if it were to go something like that, then because I kept saying, like, I just did a short where I said there, I can't see all six of those players going before Dallas, like, six of those elite pass or defenders, but yeah, if it were to go something crazy like Reese Bailey Bane, then you would be like, okay, wait a minute,
trade up.
But yeah, and you're right. You're right, JR. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. You're right, Teddy. If they didn't, if Arizona didn't win that game, they would have had the number 2 pick. So
wow. They really would have been trading back.
I'll let you take it from here then, since we're on to 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, you really passed it off really well, because something I've seen that surprised me, and looking at more of the Giants stuff, we've seen all this stuff with this past week with the mock drafts from Kuiper and everybody else, where they're taking downs there, or they're being linked to styles or downs. For so much it's been styles until like this past week, all of a sudden now it's downs. But something I saw, and from some of the sports writers for the Giants that cover them, was they really were looking at, if Jeremiah Love is there, Harbaugh would be really set to go ahead and take him and go ahead and be interested in getting Love, and just how that would really help him. If you think about it, the last part of his career with the Ravens, it was Derrick Henry, and how much that meant to really help his quarterback. They had Scadaboo, who's coming off of an injury, and the way he plays, he might be in trouble. But it just would be interesting to take a running back so high once again after you had the Saquon Barkley thing not that long ago. But maybe that still leaves a scar on the management there and the owner.
That's a good point, man.
So that's something I didn't think about till this past week when I saw that, because I'm just assuming Love's going to go to the Titans. But if they go another route, the Giants could just as easily say a lot of people have him as the best player in the draft this year. It's just he plays running back. So
I agree. 100%. And I totally think Scadaboo's method of playing is cute when you're a rookie, but you aren't gonna be able to maintain that, young man. And I don't know that he has another card in the deck. And as you just said, also, a lot of people think Love is the best player in the draft, or like top 2, top 3, somewhere in there, just as far as sheer football player. And so, like, I've just been hearing the same thing, that the Giants might be more interested in him. Their butt hurt still because of Saquon Barkley, but also like Harbaugh has had success with running back. So everything I've heard is the same thing.
It would make sense in terms of how he's trying to build a brand of football, because a lot of the other talk has been, now they have Dexter Lawrence looking for a trade, which adds another thing. And today I saw they're looking to potentially they would ideally want a top 10 pick and another pick. So not just a first, a top 10 pick, which for me is screaming teams like the Bengals and trying to get a trade, or the Browns look into it and maybe they trade something. And that gets into, I'm going to talk about the Browns here in a minute, but they're the next pick after this, actually. But Harbaugh likes to kind of build that brand of football where they could, for me, if I'm them, they still year to year playing them twice a year. It's the Cowboys. Their defensive line makes sense. That the brand of football, I think they figured out. They got to get Dexter Lawrence figured out. Give him some money. He's 28 years old, coming off a little bit of a down year, but he's dominant. And then you have their offensive line, which has still consistently been a problem, and they poured resources into it. Francis Mauigoa is still there after looking at him at 3, and he passes through, he gets past 3 with the Cardinals. that's a spot where I think could be the first spot that an offensive lineman comes off the board. He's arguably the best tackle in this draft, I think, and it's what most people say. I think that. So that
Where is
is
that headed?
Francis Malinois going at
No,
5 to the Giants.
going up. Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Go
that's
ahead.
been a discussion just to kind of like, can you lay down, can you eat your vegetables when you're building your team? And the same thing of like, can you make an impact here? This is also a spot where maybe this is where the earliest a wide receiver goes, a Cardinal Tate, which is interesting to go with Neighbors, who's also coming off injury and looking at it that way. So the Giants have a couple different spots to go. I think a lot of people, and I know you were talking about this too, Will, with we're going to be more offensive players who might go that we're just not talking about. This league still is an offensive type league. And if you look at what most people need, it's offensive line. So that I think that comes into play, not just with the Giants, but also there you look at Cleveland. Cleveland is desperately trying to trade back. Andrew Berry is talking about it. He's mentioning it. They're being linked heavily to the Cowboys. A lot of the people who I got to listen to, they're all talking about a trade. Now for them, they're trying to trade 6 and trade away pick 6 and pick 70 versus pick 39, which is crazy to me. But if you really think about it, what is their incentive to move down that much unless it's something that makes sense for them? So there's probably something you got to do to sweeten that pot. So we're, Dallas at 12. That's probably a spot they'd feel more comfortable taking an offensive lineman. But maybe Francis Malinois is still there. They just say we're just going to take him and we're going to be good. They lost so many offensive linemen in free agency this year. Like their whole starting offensive line is basically gone. So that's another spot that could go O-line. And then Andrew Berry's still very high on talking about these receivers. He was talking about receivers this past week, and how kind of like could see him on the trapeze and that kind of athlete that like some of these guys are. It's interesting because I think now after yesterday, Jordan Tyson had his workout. That impacts his whole early section of the draft from the Giants down of someone maybe taking Jordan Tyson or Carl.
Oh, I didn't hear about his workout. How did he do?
He moved around. There was like 2/3 of the league was there. The Cowboys were there, by the way. Interesting.
So I heard.
The whole NFC East is there. So I think every NFC East team minus Dallas would be very interested. I think Dallas is looking because he's likely going to end up either at the Commanders coming up next, that's another spot. Yep. So all these positions starting from 5, 6, 7, even 8 could all be spots where when those receivers go. So it's interesting. I think the biggest thing for the Browns is maybe trading back. People have said the Giants might try to trade back, but they wouldn't trade with Dallas. Maybe they trade back a little bit with like Kansas City, who I'll let you take that one, JR, and some of the things you're hearing there. But both those teams could go O-line, but then you get to 7. Now this is really where these impact Ohio State guys could probably go. One of these positions, I could see Sonny Styles playing there. That defense was atrocious last year. But again, this is another team that if Jeremiah Love slips that far, they will probably take him. Best player in the draft, slipping to 7 for them. Impact. They had your boy Bill last year, who was a rookie, but you can't pass up someone who would instantly help your now getting injured quarterback. But you still got to get some defense here. They made some defensive pickups I think were pretty good across the D line. That's helpful. So that's one where I could see the Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs has been talked about there too, just having some defensive premier pieces that go, or that's where they get an impact receiver. I think this is really another spot where a receiver goes. If Carnell Tate's still there, they don't have like a guy. And that's where Brandon Ayuk has been connected for a while now, because he played with Daniels back when they were at Arizona State. And, the 49ers try to get him for a trade. So that's been talked about. It's kind of assumed that's where he'll go once he gets released, even if he's traded for a 7th. So I see receiver there if they think one of those guys is worth it. But wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those defenders. And then at pick 8, who knows, man? This is a spot they could trade out. This is another place where Carnell Tate is talked about. Getting a receiver for Tyler Shuck, your young quarterback. Kellen Moore, we know how he operates, having had him in Dallas, and where he grew up was in Dallas. He wants to be able to throw the ball and get it to someone effectively. It could just as easily be a spot where they just take the best pass rusher if Bain falls. Seen that plenty of times where Bain ends up going here. That kind of leads you to having, getting maybe that's a spot where Downs goes and he's put a guy who's been in that space to really take it over. Or maybe this is where Delane goes. LSU, Saints, they get a premier defender. They feel happy about it. They move on with their lives. But anywhere from 5 through 8, you can see anywhere with these receivers going, and if Love falls.
Yeah, 5 through 8 to me is going to be where Dallas is going to be incredibly interested to see what goes on. Like, I was not at no point in time before you started talking, Teddy, did I think that Jeremiah Love could potentially
wait a minute.
go.
Breaking news. Da-da-da. What did I just say could happen? The Giants are trading 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals in a deal that would include the 10th overall pick going to New York. The Giants now have pick 5 and 10.
Oh, that's so rude.
I just said a spot where he could get traded is right there at pick 10. Come on now. This is live. I said this 5 minutes ago.
Okay, hold on. So you're saying, okay, so wow. So
Buster.
The Giants just picked up the 10th pick by trading Dexter Lawrence.
Yes. They have pick 5 and 10.
That is insane. That
hurts.
Insane.
It really changes up how things look, though.
Oh my God.
Now you might need to jump the Giants.
The Cowboys. Wow. Okay, so all right. All right. We got to speculate a little bit here now.
All right. So that changes everything in this draft. So pick 10 is where he was going to go. That was where JR had it. JR is trying to figure out some technical difficulties, but wow.
Dog, that is crazy. All right, let's take a second here. We got to break this. Yeah, we got to break this down because
the top 10.
So now the Giants so now the Giants got 5 and 10.
Yeah.
Because they just traded Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals for pick number 10. So now they got 5 and 10. And I was sitting there thinking like, the Giants are definitely going to go either Downs or Styles. I wasn't even thinking about Jeremiah Love until you said something. That almost makes Jeremiah Love could definitely go at 5.
They just take 5. And don't even worry about it because they got picked 10. They can take the best defensive player that's left over.
Yes.
Or
they could take the best defensive player.
Offensive line. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of screws us royally.
It really
absolutely does.
Wow.
It absolutely does. That absolutely screws Dallas. Because I was sitting there thinking like, oh, there's no way the Cowboys can move
yes
up.
And no. I can see them trading back again from 10 if they want, because they can get several other picks. Wow.
Whoa.
I mean, they can do what they want now.
I wonder if this forces the Cowboys' hands and makes them have to like give up the 12 and the 20.
I was just about to say that, JR. I was like, I can now see the Cowboys talking to the Cardinals and saying, all right, look, here's 12 and 20. Let us get 3. Because you got to get ahead. Because before I was like, if the Giants take Styles, it would suck, but I would be okay with it. If they took Downs, that would suck, but I'd be okay with it. But there's the potential for somebody else, for one of those two guys to get back to you at that point. But by them picking up 10, they could literally take both of them if they wanted to. Like, they could get Styles and Downs. If they wanted.
I know. One of the things that's interesting, though, too, is the Bengals have historically been like Dallas with not trading for players and giving up picks. It's been very much similar in their way of team building. And now both these teams that don't like to spend in free agency have traded for defensive tackles.
Wow.
The other
Do you
thing,
feel like that's a little rich for Dexter Lawrence?
I think it's crazy. I'm surprised.
A top 10 pick, but the Bengals, I mean, they lost Trey Hendrickson. They got the money now, for at least because they don't have him, but they were in on a lot of these same defenders. They were trying to get in on a lot of these guys. I mean, the other thing we didn't mention too, we're talking about pick 3. The Chiefs are in talks with the Cardinals and Titans about trading up to pick 3 or 4. I think they want one of these impact pass rushers. And that's from Jeremy Fowler, ESPN today.
That is crazy. So I was like, because before you dropped that bomb, Teddy, I was literally sitting there saying like, oh, you know what? I'd be really happy if the Giants did go Love, and even if they did, like even if they didn't, I would be happy if Washington did it. Wow. So with the break, like with the twist that just came, what is your definitive 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we can pass it off to JR and let him deal with this. I think. Mess.
I mean, I think they could sit there, and at 5, it doesn't change a bunch. They could still go, if Love is there, take him. But that now changes to they just take the best defender because they can get an offensive lineman at 10 and be happy. They could take Fano if they want. Yep. So that could make them go best defensive player, then best offensive player. So if one of those pass rushes were to fall, it looks like in 2 or 3 is 2 to 4 is where maybe get 2 of them gone. They could just sit there and just take Styles maybe at 5 and be happy with it. Or if they want, I feel like they take Styles more. I don't know. Or they just take Downs at 5. Styles or Downs, I think now it's more likely that unless it's Love, right? Because at 10, you're happy to take one of these offensive linemen. And then at 6, I think that's going to end up being a trade out. And they'll see how that works out. But whoever's trading up is probably get the first receiver. I think that's where the receivers goes. 7 could be a receiver if it's not a back-to-back lineman situation. 6 is probably where I think the low end of when the lineman goes. Someone maybe trades for one. 7, Carnell Tate. 8 could be if Reuben Bain still sitting there, he goes. So, or the receivers. I just think 5 through 8, you're getting a mixture of receiver, offensive line, and then defensive playmaker. I think that's any spot where Delane's earliest spot he probably goes is somewhere in there.
Boy, that's crazy. All right, JR. Well, you can take it away now that we just got that bombshell that
well, I feel like my stuff is simpler. I feel like the Chiefs will take a one of the edges if they are available. If Bailey or Reese or Bain falls to them, they'll probably take one of them, and if not, they're going to take a wide receiver. They're going to take either Tyson or Carnell Tate. The Bengals are more similar to us, but they will take Jordan Love if he is there, and if not, probably they're just going to take whoever the top player on their board is, and the way most of the Bengals people seem to be thinking is that's probably going to be a defender. It's probably going to be a Bain or Downs.
They literally just got so I guess that's why they gave up 10 in. Like if you were saying like
that's right. Holy smokes, you just said that. That's his team.
That's the Giants now.
Yeah. So if you were
Oh,
saying so if you were hearing that they were going defense, that's why they gave up 10
they
to
got
the
their defense.
Giants.
Yeah,
They
They
got
got
their
their
defense.
defense now, so that helps there because that's a less like because I think the Giants could use one of those picks to take a receiver now.
Mm-hmm.
but if you're the Giants and you got Malik Neighbors last year,
Two
do
years
you
ago, he got hurt with
2 years
the
ago? Do you take a receiver? I mean, like there you're geared up. I mean, you can get a running back and you can replace Dexter Lawrence.
Would
Yeah.
you just replace him at 10? I mean, these defense. What? Who you're going to take at 10? What? If I'm them, if I'm the Giants, I'd try to get one of my receivers, or I'm trying to trade down, and then, like maybe you try to get the Jets to be like someone's trying to get your quarterback, or because the
Right.
Jets want to trade up to get a receiver, the Giants might just take one, or you're trying to fleece somebody to get next year's pick, and if not,
Yep.
you just sit and take somebody who helps your young quarterback, or you could load up on defense. You could double dip at defense and be solid. But that offense still needs help. I don't know. It's interesting, especially because the Chiefs are trying to trade up. So whoever they trade back, the Cardinals, they're trying to trade up to 3 or 4. That
Mm-hmm.
sweet spot that just came out today. It's
I mean,
interesting.
I mean, Harbaugh, is like he really made his name with his defense at the Ravens. Like, I mean, I mean, he might go defense both picks.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Giants are
Yeah.
stronger defensively right now, so you could just really overpower that.
Oh
That is so
God,
wild, man. That is so that really did that. I feel like where a draft was already incredibly unpredictable before Dallas picks at 12, it's like that makes it even more insane to me now that the Giants have 5 and 10.
that's
Like I
sad
cannot.
trombone.
Yes, literally, like that is so messed up to me. It was
Womp
bad
womp.
enough, like seeing the Giants actually get what could be a competent coach,
Mm.
but like now I'm sitting there worried, like, oh crap, now they're gonna have 5 and 10, and they can literally do whatever they want at this point now. Like that is wow, that's absolutely crazy. But so, what have you been hearing about the Dolphins, Jr.? Where do you
Well,
think
well,
the
the
Dolphins? Are?
the Dolphins are tougher because they've been getting rid of all their players.
Mm-hmm.
So they and this draft being as what it is, uh, like they sound like us but they could also go offense. They
Mm-hmm.
have a new quarterback that they paid, but they need everything. They
Jalen
need
Tolbert is their number one wide receiver.
I mean, I'm just hoping that that's what they're thinking. But they have a bunch of picks. They have 7 picks in the top 100. Which is just crazy.
Yep.
Um, uh, and so, like, originally, like, I was worried about them maybe trading up to 4, trading up to 6 ahead of us because they have way more firepower than we do.
Yeah.
And that might still happen because, but they need players on both sides of the ball. They need players all over the field. Um, the wide receivers, it does seem like that would be the way to go, but none of the wide receivers are like Rome Odunze or Marvin Harrison Jr. were that year, where it's like, oh, we have to get one of these guys. They're all I. So and Miami needs everything, so they could go anywhere. I mean, like that was the wildest of the wild cards of my 3 teams. You know, before the Bengals traded out of that spot. That's crazy talk.
I can't get over that. Like I'm waiting to try to get the to see what the like what the actual compensation is, because it just said it's a package that includes 10, but you don't know
That's
exactly
right,
how
because
long
he's
the
gonna
guy.
need a contract too,
Yeah.
right?
That's the other part that I'm shocked that they were able to get 10, because, or I mean, I guess maybe they sent something back with it though, um, to sweeten the deal. I guess I just wow, that
Because
is
because Dex because
crazy.
Dex is gonna be like stick him up.
Yeah.
The odds of them going defense twice is probably low. The Giants GM did fly out to see Jordan Tyson. He's one of the few GMs that was there.
If they were to do Styles and Downs, that would really make my head explode. Like I would be so.
I just can't see them doing that when they need they do need receivers though. But boy, the Giants' interior defensive line looks rough now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got Darius their D-line room, Darius Alexander, Roy Robertson Harris, Elijah Chapman, Sam Roberts, Marlon Tuipulotu. Like, I remember Darius Alexander. I think he and him getting drafted. Like, they're going to need to take somebody probably in at least the second round. I don't know if any of these, but then maybe they trade back and get Caden McDonald from, like, that would make sense. And they just get a younger guy from Ohio State. He's good. He just gets overshadowed by these other guys.
Didn't they have a good
you think they would
defensive line just a couple years ago?
Target Peter Woods from Clemson.
I could see someone like that. I don't know about at 10, though. I think if they're trying to stay at 10, they take one of these receivers.
Let's cross our fingers and hope they take Peter Woods at 10. That would be awesome. That would be hilarious.
I mean, I'll say this. From a Cowboys standpoint, I am glad that they wouldn't have to deal with Dexter Lawrence in the middle anymore. So,
one of their best players, not the best player they had.
I mean, from that standpoint, I guess I'll look at it try to be positive in that regard. But yeah, that's brutal, man. I'm so mad that they have 5 and 10, like 2 picks in the top 10, 2 picks in the top 10, like that is
and
it's so infuriating.
And sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Don't teams look around and go like, oh, well, we don't want to make that team super powerful, so I'm not going to do that. I mean, like, golly, I don't know.
To be fair, it is the Giants. To be fair, it's like,
they had a good coach though.
They've had. I mean, to be fair, it is the Giants. So I don't know.
It's just straight up the 10th overall pick, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
But man, I mean, they feel like they got their quarterback last year. They got a running back. Now they got 2 picks in the top 10. They got Malik Neighbors a couple years ago. They are actually building up a squad. So,
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they do. But boy, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But all right, well. That was that took an interesting turn.
Hey,
it was not.
We were just saying that. We were just saying it's time to. We're kind of tired of this. That's one way to shake things up.
Yep.
They absolutely, they absolutely shook things up. They
hold on.
Shook things up.
Past the physical.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
Oh.
That's true.
And
as we learned, they gotta pass the physical with Max Crosby. Who knows? They might have the Bengals might wake up and be like, we got some severe buyer's remorse here. So
maybe that makes the Ravens.
All right, fellas,
have make sure they get offensive line because they already need to get.
So we'll take a brief pause, and then we're gonna jump into the full-on 7-round Cowboys mock draft, which is gonna be incredibly interesting. And this is the 0 to 100 podcast mock draft coming up.